TV shows, animation, and maths. Please put your hands together for the distinguished Toastmaster, how to deliver a winning speech.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Am I audible and visible to everyone properly? Yes, no? Cool. Can I ask to zoom out the video more so that I can see everybody? Thank you. Thank you. We have more people coming in. Brilliant. Let them settle in first, then we'll probably start. How are you all? Great. Brilliant. Okay, so whatever I'm going to say now in this session, right? My personal view, the time I have experienced in Toastmasters and my learnings, my experiences by listening to a lot of speakers, giving a lot of speeches. That's what I'm going to discuss about in this today's session. So the first and foremost question to everybody here, since we are preparing for the ISC, right? Whenever you write a speech, whenever you go on a stage, what do you think is the purpose of that giving a speech or delivering that speech?
To connect with the audience.
Connect with the audience.
To
Make it memorable.
Make it memorable, yes.
to make understand our message, our point of view.
Yeah, okay. Our point of view to be spread across to everybody, yes.
Deliver a specific value to the audience.
Deliver a specific value to the audience, correct. And there is no correct answer, but I always feel whenever somebody goes on a stage, right, the basic purpose of that speech, of that speaker is always to be remembered, as Nitin mentioned, right, to become memorable. And your speech is mentioned or is deemed to be good or bad based on the longevity of the speech. For example, after giving this session or this speech, if after, let's say, 1 month or 2 months, somebody comes back to me from this club, say that, okay, you were that person who gave that speech or that workshop, you took up that workshop. I think the idea of me coming up and giving that workshop, taking the workshop is fulfilled. And that is something which you always have to remember, that whenever you go on a stage or write a speech, you have to think from that perspective, that is that a speech you're writing where somebody might remember you from that speech or from the instance of the speech, right? Somebody might not remember the whole speech, but a small incident or something from the speech or a quote, right, which gets stuck in their mind. That's the most important part, and that is something which is going to take you apart from all the other speakers who are going to come up on a stage. There is no fixed formula for winning a speech, right? If you just do a small analytics, go back and listen to all the world-winning speeches, right? The IC speeches, the world champion speeches, you would see that they all have a different kind of speech, and you will not be able to find any kind of pattern. Right? There's a very beautiful things when Devi mentioned about me, she mentioned about maths. There's an equation in maths. It's called a beautiful equation. Anybody who has heard about this equation? Go back to mathematics, 11th, 12th. You might have heard it. Geometry.
A plus B whole square.
A plus B whole square. Pythagoras theorem. No. There are a lot of weird stuff, right, in maths. So one of them is this beautiful equation. And why it is called beautiful? Because it combines something, and at the end you find out which is very beautiful. And for the people who are not aware of this equation, that equation is called the Euler's equation, or as we Indians say it, Euler's equation, right? If you Google it, it simply says e raised to power I pi plus 1 equal to 0. And why it's called beautiful? Because you would see there's something called e, I, pi, and they're somehow they're coming together and making something whole, 1 or 0, right? And that's how your speech would be. Me giving you a formula or me giving you a tip saying that, okay, try this or try that, right? It might work and it might not work. There is no fixed thing to it. But there are something which you need to always take care of when you're writing a speech. And that is what we are going to discuss today. Okay? That what are the things you should take care of. Now, if you have ever seen the ballot of ISC for any speech contest, you would always know, or you would always see that there are two sections to it. The first section is always the content, and the second part is the delivery. Yes, no. How many of you seen the ballot before? Raise of hands. Yes, couple of people have seen. Okay, others have not seen it. Nitin, you have not seen it. Very surprising. But nevertheless. Okay, so you would see there is almost an equal proportion given to content and delivery, right? Content being a little bit more, I think, if I remember correctly, it's 55 and delivery is given 45, right? Because the content is the king. It always takes more precedence, a little bit more precedence than the delivery. So you always have to make sure whenever you're writing a speech that the written part has meat. Written part has a lot of good idea, good stuff going around, right? So the basic funda, the basic idea should always be to write a good speech. Now, a lot of people come back and say that I don't have an idea. My life has been boring till now. We are not able to find anything to speak about, right? But that is something which we have to take forward and see how can we write something which we could deliver in a form that can make it effective. If you would have seen or listened to a lot any of the world's champion speeches, you would see the message is not very drastic or something which you might not have heard before. They take a very simple idea, but they try to showcase it in a way that makes it effective. And that is the skill you will have to see and, incorporate while you're writing a speech. So one of the ways where I do it, right, if you're not getting in something to write upon a topic or an idea, right, start by speaking about it more, either in your head or with your partner or with your friend, right? And you would see that when your mind is free and you have those free flowing ideas, you will be able to write or get more lines what needs to be done. And you should always start drafting those things as and when you get those ideas and those lines. And that is very important. You can always structure it later on, but whatever comes to your mind, start jotting it down. There are three things which you have to take care of while you're writing a speech. Okay, keep in mind uh, the audience whom you are going to deliver a speech. So never write a speech which will alienate your audience completely. You cannot go, specifically for an ISC speech, right? You cannot go on a stage and talk about, let's say, Java more specifically, right? If there is an audience member who is not from the tech background, they will not be able to even understand what exactly you are trying to say, right? You have to ensure that you are able to relate with the audience. Your speech is relatable, right? So audience matters a lot. Do not have a very technical topic going forward in an ISC speech. Try to make it more relatable as possible. Try to keep it as simple as possible. The magic is always in the way you structure your speech and deliver the speech. The idea can be very, very simple. And you might have seen if you just go back and check all the speeches, right, for all the good speakers, you would see that they usually talk about the few emotions, the basic human emotions we have, right? Love, anger, jealousy. Sometimes people try to motivate people, right? Encouragement, inspiration, right? Those stuffs come in. So you will have to take up those basic emotions and play around with it. Do not bring in a lot of technical stuff. Correct? Yes? Okay. When I was talking about the purpose, if you have read or if you have completed level 1 speech 2, you would learn about the purpose of the speech. There are basically 3 or 4 purposes of any speech when you go on a stage. Either it can be for entertainment or entertaining the audience. It can be inspiring or it can be informational, where you are giving a lot of information or knowledge to the audience. Try to bring in your speech in either of these 3 categories. They should not be very confusing, right? Your speech purpose should not be confusing. You should not try to blend in a lot of things in a speech. The audience member might not be able to take it then and there. So it's very important. If you're writing a very entertaining speech, try to keep it very entertaining. A little bit of inspiration works, but do not mix it a lot. Okay. And the final thing would be your story. So people have a lot of formulas around it. People usually say keep at least 3 stories in your speech. Some people have only 1 story in their speech. Some people bring in a lot more stories in their speech, right? Why the 3-story formula works? The basic funda is the time slot which you have got, right? In those time slots, you will be able to expand upon those two to three stories properly, giving in more detail so that the speech is relatable and the audience can connect with it properly. Okay. Now let me give you an example. If I have to write a speech around my childhood, let's take an example of an icebreaker speech, right? And if you have to write a speech about yourself, about your childhood, how the kind of person you were, right? So what you need to do is you need to add in the more details. You cannot just directly go, went to a school in this place, and then I cleared my class 10 with this percentage and went to the college, right? If you're picking up a specific incident from your childhood, always give in more details. If you're talking about your friend, give that friend a name, right? If your school played a very huge part in your childhood, the way you are right now, take the name, right? Describe the school or describe your friend in a way that people can relate to it. Adding those small details makes it more relatable. And that's very important, making your speech very relatable and catching hold of audience attention for the whole time, whole 7 minutes. See, when you go in a contest, there are 7 more, 10 more contestants with you, more than that, right? Sometimes 5 or 6. You have a lot more contestants with you, and the only play you're going to play there on the stage is around keeping the audience attention on you the whole time. If your speech is not engaging, if it is not relatable to the audience or to the judges, they might not listen to your whole speech and they might mark you down directly. It's their moral obligation to listen to your whole speech, but if it is not engaging, they might not do it, right? So ensure that your story has those meat, those details embedded into the speech, right? Now, if you see and listen to a lot of these speeches, you would see that the call for action, the value they're delivering in this speech is quite high and it is memorable, though it sticks to your mind, right? If you have how many of you have heard the speech from Ramona, the world champion Ramona speech? Nobody? Please go ahead and see it. It's a very beautiful speech and not a very complex speech, but the way she delivers it and the way the message sticks to your mind, that is commendable. And that is something which you always play around in your speech. For example, if you want to motivate your audience saying that, okay, you should always take the first step or you should always go forward, right? Barring all the difficulties you face, you need to reiterate the same idea into the mind of the audience again and again throughout the speech. So whatever stories you take, 3 stories or 2 stories, right? Those stories in between, you should be reiterating this kind of idea for the audience. Either do it directly or do it subtly in an indirect form. That is a call which you could take creatively. How do you want to subtly message that or iterate that idea into the mind of the audience? But you have to do it again and again. Okay, so your story, how the value can be delivered to the audience, that plays a huge role. During the speech writing, right, one of the most important part which you have to always take care of is, a lot of people usually say this, right, that we don't have any idea for how to write a speech or on what topic should I write a speech, right? And if I don't have any idea, shall I borrow somebody else's stories into my speech and then deliver it, right? So there are 2 aspects to a speech. Either you can be authentic or you can be impactful, right? If your own life is not very inspiring or motivating, but you still want to deliver an inspiring speech, how do you do it? Either you borrow it from somebody and then deliver it, right? But always remember this, if the story is not yours, it shows on your face when you go on the stage. And it's a very huge deal, making the speech authentic on the stage, making people feel that it's your own story and you have lived through whatever hardships you are mentioning in the speech. If that doesn't match, you might not be able to relate to the audience, right? But that comes with practice. If you practice a speech a lot of times, or if you are on the stage a lot more times than usual, you will be able to fake it very properly. But if you're not doing it very regularly, it's always suggested that bring in stories from your own life. There are a couple of advantages to this. First of all, you don't have to fake. You are very comfortable delivering your own life story on stage. Even if you forget, you know what has happened in the past. You might not say the huge fancy word, but you will be able to complete the speech somehow. But if you're faking it, or if you have memorized the speech, from somebody else else's stories, if you borrowed it, right? If you forget somewhere down the line on the stage, you will forget and you will fumble. So it's very important that you have to take a call, either be very, very authentic, or if you're borrowing a story from somebody else's life, please ensure that you practice it so much time that you do not forget it on stage. And you will have to make the story your own. That's the most important part. You should not show on your face that this story is not yours, and you should have lived that whole story in your own lifetime. So very, very important that this you have to do it. Now, this is more on the content part, right? That once you start writing your story, what are the things you need to take care of, right? And now there are the technical aspects about the structure of the speech, the transitions, um, how to open a speech, how to close a speech. I mean, there is no one fixed thing or the best way to do it. There are a lot of ways to do it. Asking a question initially to get audience attention. You could quote somebody, or you could directly start very dramatically. That also works, right? Anything which can catch audience attention, that works, right? I have seen people tripping on the stage, right, just to get the audience attention, and that works. You can dress in a certain way to get audience attention. That also works, right? You could use a lot of props to get audience attention. That also works. So there is no fixed formula. Something which suits your story, to suits your speech, that needs to be incorporated, and it should look organic. It should not look forced, right? So that is something you have to take care of. The opening, body, conclusion. The structure of the speech should be proper. Then your transitions between the stories in between should be very organic, right? A lot of people make a lot small mistakes. For example, they always mention, now I'm going to quote him. Now I'm going to quote him. Not required, right? These small fallacies can be always eradicated or removed from your speech, right? Make it as organic as possible. It should look like that you are just sitting next to the audience and just telling them a story that this happened to me. Can you imagine, right? In that form. And that will always bring in more excitement and engagement from the audience. Now, coming to the delivery part of the speech, right? The whole delivery of the speech will change depending upon at what stage you are giving the speech. And this is important, right? If you're giving a speech in a club, the way you deliver a speech would change as soon as you go on to an area stage, a division stage, or let's say on the district level. These things will change. How many of you have seen a play before? A live play? Have you? No? In college or Nukkad Natak in college? Brilliant. So if you have seen in Nukkad Natak, a lot of people, they do a lot of exaggerated hand gestures and movements, and they start shouting at some point of time, right? The basic idea is to get everybody involved. Whosoever is nearby, they should be listening to your speech properly, right? And they should not be looking for subtle hand movements or eye gestures. Those works in movie when there is a one-on-one interaction. So basically, whenever you go for a movie, it's always a one-on-one interaction with the movie. So you, as a moviegoer, as a cinephile, look at the movie and interact with the movie in a different way. A person sitting next to you might interact. But when you're doing a live show or a live speech, right, this thing always changes. For example, consider Devi giving a presidential speech right now. She's just standing next to you, right? 2 steps from you. Her hand gestures doesn't needs to be very exaggerated. But imagine you go on a stage now, right? 6 feet apart or 10 feet apart, the stage is. Now she has to do those gestures so that the audience at the back are able to see her properly and they are able to get those gestures properly. And okay, this is the thing she did and that's what it meant, right? And same just considered on the district stage. When we are just seeing the speaker in this form, right? This small, if you're in the audience. If that speaker is not exaggerating their body gestures or hand movements, right? Facial expression completely goes out of picture, right? Until it is there, it is getting it is getting captured on the camera. Nobody sees it. But hand gestures and body movements are something which can be captured by the audience even at the back. So when you're delivering it on such stages, please ensure that you start practicing it in that form. That you have to exaggerate as much as possible. Right? Stage movement in a club setting changes as soon as you go to a next level. Here you are taking 2 steps, you might have to sprint there, right, to complete the whole same step. So practice it beforehand when you're going to deliver the speech. Body gestures, your facial expressions, body movements, these will change as you start progressing ahead to different levels, right? So specifically for the club level, because you're going to contest now at the club level, ensure you are able to use the stage properly. And again, this is again a very taboo thing to say, that people usually say that stage movement is a very huge factor, is a huge factor while you're delivering a speech. It's not. Your speech should demand it. If you're going to deliver a very heavy hitting speech, and let's say the setting of the speech is more around, which is more melancholy or very sad, right? Try to be on the, try, if you stand up and give the whole speech standing at one place, that also works. If the audience is able to grasp in or to get in to the zone you're trying to put them into properly. So stage movement, if your speech demands it, do it, right? But in my experience, right, drama has always worked on stage. So if your speech has some place where you could add drama, add it. That will always enunciate the whole expression and the feeling of the speech, right? That's very important. The delivery will always take your speech from X level to Y level, right? And Y is always greater than X. Just remember this, right? If you just deliver a speech in a certain way, the idea might have more impact. How the audience is going to take away the message from you always would depend upon how you're going to deliver it. Okay? You might have heard this analogy, right? You can hold your nose like this and again like this, right? What's the difference? There's a huge difference, right? Doing this it might look very simple, and it's the simplest way of doing it, and it's very effective, right? And you do it like this, people might consider you stupid, right? So when you're on a stage, considering the way you're going to deliver the same message might change the whole idea of the message. So the structure of the speech and the delivery would change the way you're going to deliver the whole message to the audience. So these are a few things which you might have to take care of while you're writing a speech. Try using a lot of rhetorical devices in your speech. Rhetorical devices, if people know, lot of alliterations, right? Iterating your message value again and again throughout the speech, either directly or indirectly, mentioning it to the audience so that it sticks to them, right? The language and the style. So while you're writing it, you can always incorporate some good language in your speech, which you don't usually speak out in a general audience, in a general setting, right? Which can elevate the speech idea or the messaging which you're going to deliver. Since you're going to prepare it, right? But do not use it too complex that the audience are not able to understand it. Do not go on full Sachi Tharoor mode while it's going to write a speech. Again, the audience might be disconnected, right? Here and there, one or two good words or vocabulary always adds value, right? If the meaning of the word is inherited in the sentence. Am I able to explain it properly? Yes.
Yes.
For example, you take up a very complex word and put it in between, but if the audience is not able to understand it, it's of no value. But with the context of the speech you have already delivered, the sentence which already preceded it, right? If you find a word which can elevate the messaging of the sentence, incorporate it, because the audience will be able to understand it properly, what you were trying to say, and they might learn something new. But if the whole speech is around these complex words, right, the whole message goes away. They might not even understand what exactly you're trying to deliver or you're trying to say. So that's very important, that you should work upon seeing if it can fit properly, right? Apart from that, when you're delivering it, as I mentioned earlier, right, engaging with the audience is very important, right? Call for action. If your speech is inspiring or motivating, call for action is something which you could probably work upon, right? Giving a very roaring and soaring ending to a speech, right? Specifically if it's an underdog story, right? Always work. It always works, right? But given the fact that, okay, you have also incorporated a lot of other things throughout the speech, right? The whole speech was flat, and then at the end you give a Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose's call for action, might not add value, right? So this is something which you could do, right? Also for engagement, something which always works is humor, right? Do not make your speech completely and too serious for the audience. They are there, they are taking out time coming there to listen to your speech. Too serious of a speech always, they make people depressed sometimes. I always feel, and now this is my personal opinion, okay? Okay, do not quote me or do not take it for that this is a rule as such, right? Uh, Anything and everything can be presented with a pinch of humor, right? And that pinch of humor makes your speech more relatable, right, to the audience. Sometimes it also makes a very hard-hitting message palatable to the audience, right? So sometimes, let's say if your speech is very sad and you are going to deliver a speech, let's say around death, right? But if you have that small thing in between, right, you might lighten up the at least some parts of the speech, right? Again, very, very cautiously you should do it. Do not dilute the message, right? It should not be that the whole speech was a comedy and then at the end you are just delivering a message about the death, right? So sprinkle it across if you feel that it plays along, it doesn't look forced, right? Then just add it there. I always feel that it should be added somewhere here down the line, so it makes it more relatable to the audience. Add it and see that it will be more engaging to the audience. People, in case somebody is not listening to it, if they hear a joke or hear somebody cracking out loud, right, neighboring to them, they'll be able to come back to your speech again and listen what exactly or what kind of joke you have cracked before which they missed. So that can be one of the ways of you calling back the audience to your own speech. So yeah, these are a few things which you could probably do. Always keep on refining your speech as much as possible. Once your speech is ready, right? Practice it as much as possible. Get feedback from a lot of people. Now we have this medium where you could go to a different audience on an online setting and deliver the same speech and see, right? So please ensure that you do it. Currently, we are in an offline setting. All the speeches would be in offline setting. If possible, go and deliver the speech in an offline setting as much as possible and get feedback from a lot of people. Again, very important. Not all the feedback is important for you to take, right? Sometimes people give feedback because they have to give a feedback. They don't have something to say, but they just say it because now they have been appointed as an evaluator for the speech, right? So understand your speech, see what is the feedback that you could incorporate and write it, and then use it in the next speech again. But keep on refining your speech as much as possible. And you have to understand that after certain, let's say you win this contest at the club level, now the speech has to become a performance as you go ahead at the next level, right? And you will have to change your delivery style as much as possible once you start going ahead in the different levels. Right? The speech content might remain the same. So this is something which I wanted to share. Use these tips, these small ideas, right? Again, these are just tips. There's no fixed formula for a great speech, right? You have to write it, you have to feel it, and you have to make it your own speech while you come up on the stage and deliver it, right? But ensure that some of the few of the things which are very basic, right, to any of the language is followed, right? And that will make your speech a better one. And the messaging, if it is delivered properly and it sticks to the mind, you're already a winner. Always remember this when you come up on a stage, if your speech is memorable, right? If one of the audience member remembers your speech or remembers you by that speech, you're already a winner, right? Thank you. That's it from my end.
Recording in progress.
ATM Sunil, after your speech, I feel more composed. You saw how I started, and I can feel that how content is important, and even more is the delivery. The more we practice, I think more better we become. I guess I was speaking to one of the members of the club that how to make our life interesting to have better speeches. I think you gave an answer to that also today. I made some important notes from your speech, and of course, I listened to the recording as well. Content, delivery, know your audience. I think that is very important. We cannot explain Java to a biology student audience, right? And structure and delivery is extremely important. You also mentioned about Ramona's speech. Most of us haven't heard, so maybe we can plan something for the club and all of us can listen to her speech. And how do we transform from one speech or one story to another? So we cannot thank you enough for presenting your useful tips today, because all of us are kind of planning to be a public speaker at some point in life, and your tips are extremely useful. So thank you so much, and can we have again a huge round of applause for So as a small token of appreciation from all of us, we will be sending you something at your doorstep. Do accept us as a gesture from our side.
Is it food?
Sorry?
Is it food? Is it biryani?
We can ensure of that.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for being a kind audience to listen to me properly. I hope that helps. Nothing else.
Yeah, so do you have some time to take some questions if we have?
Yeah. Sure. Please go ahead.
Sure. Any questions or queries for TTM Sunil on winning tips for a better speaker? Yeah.
Sunil, could you please share some light on the eye contact with audience?
Oh, yeah. Very important question, right? Eye contact. There are few tips which you could follow for eye contact. Okay, if you are if you're very nervous on a stage, right, and this is wherein a lot of your friends can help you, right? And if you are facing a lot of problem, making eye contact with the audience, place your friends in the audience at different places, and you just have to make eye contact with them rather than looking at the audience, right? Now, this is something which you do when you're just starting out, right? But once you start getting comfortable on stage, you will be able to do it more often, right? But it has happened that you are starting out, you're giving a speech on a very huge stage, and you look at an audience member and you forget your speech because you were expecting them to be very serious and they laughed. For example, I'm giving a speech, I know Nitin laughed, right? And I'm giving a very serious speech. Now I forgot everything, whatever was going on, right? So in those situations, you can always do this, right? I always do this when initially I was giving my speeches. I used to plant my friends in the audience member, right? Look, you said there, you said there, you said there. I'll make eye contact with them. And it looks like, because you're giving a speech from an audience, from a stage, it always looks like that you're talking to them or you're looking at them, right? With a wider gaze. And that helps, correct? There are other methods as well. You might have heard of something called W. People say they form a W while doing an eye contact with the audience member. That also helps to do the like this. Sometimes, okay, you're looking at them, then look in the front and look at the back, right? That can also help, right? But yeah, the better way would be, this is a hack which I have followed, planting your friends in the audience. That helps. But eye contact is very, very important. This is something which will make them feel, right? And it's very important when you're giving a very serious speech, right? You look into the eyes and the audience members feel that you're looking into their soul, right? While giving that speech, or you're talking to them directly. This might happen to you, right? So it helps. Or eye contact plays a very huge role while you're giving the speech. In case you're not looking at a certain section of the audience, right, you might completely alienate them. They might not feel connected because you are not giving them small importance, a little bit of importance to them, right? So try this. If that helps.
Thank you so much. We have one more question.
Yeah.
So Sunil, thank you for that speech. I have just one question. My acting is not convincing at all. So how do I put drama into speeches? Drama is a difficult.
So see, drama is drama is not something that you can do it on stage while delivering the speech. It should be incorporated in your speech. Okay, when you're writing the speech, you should make it dramatic, and then you should complement it with your hand gestures and body movements on the stage, right? So that's wherein you could incorporate drama. So try writing your speech in a way that it looks dramatic. I'll give an example. Let's say if you're writing an icebreaker speech, you have to mention about how you were born, the day you were born, right? Make it dramatic. Make it when the clouds were bursting, it was pouring very heavily, right? Make it visual for the audience, right? that your mom was in huge pain, there was nobody at the hospital. Make it a spooky story, right? You can always incorporate drama in that form, right? But let's say you're talking to somebody, you can always incorporate that kind of drama while the stage movement, and also changing characters on the stage. That incorporates drama, right? When you're feeling low, start to drop down your shoulders and come down, right? So these are small actions you could do while delivering the speech. But the actual drama usually comes from the speech writing in that process, right? So you can always incorporate it there. Try to make it as interesting as possible, as dramatic as possible, and this drama would help you once you go to the next level, right? There end, I mean, this content becomes the meatier the content is, um, the more the audience can relate to you, the more dramatic you could do on the stage. So speech writing, during the speech writing, you could add more drama rather than trying out something new on the stage to complement it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Great. I think we have one more question. Last.
Yes.
Sunil, as an extension to whatever we discussed, we have often seen that there's a significant difference between a regular speech versus a contest speech. Because in a contest speech, people put in more efforts to be more dramatic, to trip on stage and whatnot, right? And at that process, they'll lose their authenticity a little bit because that's not who they actually are.
Correct.
Your thoughts on being authentic and being real as a speaker versus in a contest, pandering to the judges and pandering to the audience to get to a winning stage.
Okay, so completely agree. This when you're writing a speech for a contest, right? So always remember there are a few things you have to take care of, and this always helps, right? Strategy, making a strategy out of it, right? But I always feel the priority always should be your authenticity, because if you're not authentic, it will show up on your face or it will show in your speech, right? The messaging will not be impactful. For example, the people who know me, right, they know that I usually am very funny, right? I might crack a joke at any point of time, right? That's how I am. But if I go ahead and deliver a very dramatic speech or very sad speech, right, which is not of my character, and if I'm not able to play to the 100%, right, it will not connect to the audience. It will show it on my face that I'm being fake. I'm trying out something new which I have not tried out, right? So again, if you're writing such a speech which is not completely authentic with you, then the only thing which you could do is practice this as much as possible. Practice the hell out of it then, right? Give it the speech to n number of places so that you make that story your own, right? But there's always a pattern. If you go ahead and listen to all the speeches in the past, right, you would see mostly the inspiring speeches have won, right? Underdog stories have won. So people start doing that form, that they start writing a speech on those lines, even if it has not happened to them, or even if that's not who they are, right? They might have had a very comfortable life throughout the life, but throughout their whole life cycle till now, but they'll try to portray themselves as an underdog, right? That they had a lot of problems in their life, right? But that has not happened, and somehow it will come up on their face or throughout their speech, and people will not be able to relate to it. So either you practice the hell out of it, right, or else try to write something which can enunciate what the personality you have in a simpler form, right? And that will help you. And that is where you are more able to play around creatively more, right? So the more drama can be added there, right? More the new ideas of delivery could be added. You could try out something new on the stage when you're very comfortable with the speech and you are being your authentic self, right? But if your planning, strategy, and a lot of your mind work is going into being authentic on the stage, you will lose out on these small things, and you might pay a huge price for it at the end of the day. So I always feel, you can always prioritize, but for me, it should be authentic first, and then try to cater it to the audience, right? You can see this. I have seen this also, right? One of my mentees have done this. You take up the same speech or same set of stories, but you can always play around with the messaging, right? A same story can have different messages, right? The way you deliver it. And this is something a lot of table topic speakers do it throughout the contest. They will have a 5 or 6 staple stories, right? You give them a topic, they will always mold the story according to the topic and they will deliver the same message right, from that same story. And this is what you could always try out, right? Whatever story you have, right, deliver it in a way that you can deliver a message which you want as per your context speech, whatever you think your context speech needs to be, or context message needs to be. So you can play around with that. Delivery plays a huge role. That's what I'm trying to say, right? Delivery plays a huge role. And also the second thing, how you are structuring your speech, right? Same set of three speeches, if you just change the order, that plays a huge role. What has happened first and what has happened next, right? The way you showcase the whole story, you can make a story funny, you can make a story spooky, right? You can make a horror story out of it, you can completely dramatize it. It completely depends on you. The basic content or the basic skeleton remains the same. The way you write it, the way you deliver it will change the whole context. So I would say that pick up something which has happened to you, right? So that you remain authentic self to yourself, right? And play around with that idea, and that will probably change the whole game.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. I have posted the link on the chat window for the speech. You could probably go ahead and listen to the speech also.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. We will now move to the plan or the defined structure of our weekly sessions. We will introduce the remaining extended team of today, and then we will move to the prepared speech, and then eventually to the table topics. So let me introduce you to the general evaluator of the day. She hails from the land of Temples, Odisha, currently working the platform management team in OCI for the past 1.5 years. Her secondary hobbies include reading books, watching thriller mystery series, writing poetry, and sipping chai. But primary hobby is singing. Apart from all of that I have mentioned now, she is also learning ukulele and bike riding. Please put your hands together for Toastmaster Abhisha.
So, I'll be the general evaluator for today for everyone's benefit. I'll observe the whole meeting and I'll appreciate the good efforts that we put in, and I'll suggest any improvements that needs to be implemented. So I'll keep it short. I have my tag team also, timer, R counter, and grammarian. So I'll like to first introduce our timer for today, Sherry. She is a software developer with Oracle Fusion Cloud for past 3 years. She loves to do trekking and enjoys capturing nature in her camera. She believes that world has so much to offer and we can experience that only by putting ourselves in uncomfortable zones. She wants to communicate her thoughts better by being in Toastmasters. Everyone, please welcome Toastmaster Sherry. So I will be a timer today. So my task is to do timer to show the time. So the green. So there are 3 types of speeches. So one is a prepared speech, and one is stamp break kind table topics, and the another one is evaluation. So for prepared speech, the timing is 5 to 7 minutes. So for 5 minutes, I will be showing a green card, and for 6 minutes, I will be showing yellow card, and for 7 minutes, I will be showing red card. And if you extend more than 30 minutes, you will be 30 seconds, you will be disqualified. Other than that, table topics, you have 1 to 2 minutes. So for 1 minute, I will show the green card. For 1.30 seconds, I will show the yellow card, and for 2 minutes, I will show the red card. Same 30 seconds more, you will be disqualified. And for the evaluation, you have 2 to 3 minutes. So for 2 minutes, I will show the green card. For 2.30 seconds, I will show the yellow card, and for 3 seconds, so it's 3 minutes, I will show the red card. And same 30 seconds more, you will be disqualified. And at the end of the meeting, I will share the over to the season. Next will be our R counter, Dakshayani. Dakshayani has spent 1 year at Oracle. She sings lovely, and she also likes to read books. She's also very much into board gaming. Please let's welcome R counter. Thank you, General Evaluator. My job here today is to pay attention to the filler words like some kind of things like that. So please pay attention while you're talking and pause if you feel like you're using a filler word. And that's it. So thank you. Next will be our grammarian, Toastmaster Ravindra. Ravindra joined Oracle in 2020 and works for CSS Global SaaS and Apps Delivery team. In his free time, he loves to play badminton, play with his kids. He is also trying to be a better person by focusing on meditation. I would also love to add that he has a witty presence of mind and you will never miss a laugh with his one-liners. Please welcome.
Thank you, General Evaluator. So today I'm playing the role of grammarian. So first I want to start with a quote. Good grammar is like personal hygiene. You can ignore it, but don't be surprised when people judge you. So as a grammarian, it is my responsibility to pay close attention to all the speakers. So today we have only one speaker by Sunil. So I'm listening carefully to their language usage. I will take a note of any misuses. Sorry, my message bar. Okay, so I will be.
Thank you. I have it.
So I will be listening to the speeches. So I will be giving the good usage of English. I will be noting the good usage of English, not so good usage of English. And it's my responsibility to give the word of the day and phrase of the day. So that you can use the word of the day and phrase of the day during your speeches. So the word of the day is eloquence. And it is already written on the board. So while you're giving the speeches, you can use it in your speeches. And phrase of the day is storytelling as a tool for connection. So with that, I'll
meaning of the word of the day.
Giving the report.
Meaning of the word of the day. I want to use, but I don't know the meaning.
You're there. We're not there.
Okay.
Yeah, we put it in the
I'll give the complete description in the chat. So over to General.
Thank you, Ramarian. So I'll also provide my holistic report at the end of the meeting. Thank you. I'll request everyone to use the word of the day and phrase of the day. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you so much, General Evaluator and the tag team. We will move to the prepared speech now. It will be evaluated by an external evaluator and the speech is also by an external speaker. Let me introduce you to the Toastmaster Katherine. She is a final year CSC student with a deep passion for ML and Python. Former president of MVJCE Toastmasters Club, winner of Area Even Evaluation Contest PY 24-25, Triple Crown winner and a keynote speaker. She enjoys writing poems, riding your networking. You have a lot of commonality with Toastmaster Abhiksha, Toastmaster Katherine. Would you like to give little information about your targeted speaker of the day?
Sure, Toastmaster. So my target speaker for the day is attempting his level 2 project 3 in presentation mastery. The speech timing is 5 to 7 minutes. The purpose of this speech is for the member to clearly define how Toastmasters envisions mentoring. And the purpose of this speech is for the mentor to share some aspects of a previous experience as a prodigy. Thank you, and over to you, Toastmaster.
Toastmaster Katherine. Let me now introduce you to the Toastmaster Mohammad, who is also the speaker for the day. He's born and brought up in Bangalore, a senior software engineer at Electrobit. He's passionate about coding. Outside of work, you will find him trekking or going on bike rides. His speech title is Presentation Mastery. Over to you, Toastmaster Muzammil, and all the best to you.
Thank you very much. This is just a quick check if I'm audible and visible. Yes. Thank you very much. Have you ever had someone in your life who gave you the right advice at the right time? Someone who made you see something in you when you didn't see it for yourself? For me, that was my brother. In 2017, I completed my bachelor's in computer applications. I was one of the chillest dudes in my class. I didn't care about studies or placements. The only thing I cared about was fun. After college, I joined BPO, and those were some of the best days of my life. Laughter filled office, endless jokes, less work, more fun. I felt like I'm in college again. One day, my brother sat me down and asked, "Is this what you want for your future?" That question was splash of cold water on my face, waking me to reality. When he asked about my interest, I told him I want to be a software engineer. Deep down, I didn't believe it was possible. But still, with courage, I quit my fun job and stepped out of my comfort zone. I spent months learning programming languages and applying for jobs. Companies kept asking me, "Do you have an experience?" No. "Do you have engineering or master's degree?" No. Just like that, doors kept shutting on my face. And that is when the most difficult part of my life began. One day, I saw a post, company hiring software developers, but only through referrals. And I had none. But I still decided to try. When I arrived, security asked me, "Do you have a referral?" I told, "Yes, he's inside." As I went in, HR approached me. "Hi, could you please tell me the employee ID of the person who referred you?" I said, "Sorry, I do not have a referral. I walked in here directly." The moment she heard this, "Security! Security! Why did you let this person in? He doesn't have a referral." "Ma'am, ma'am, sorry, ma'am. He told referral sitting inside, ma'am." Just like that, I was thrown out of that company. That moment shattered me. I started questioning everything and I gave up on being stubborn about becoming a software developer. And I decided to accept any job. People started telling me, "Muzammil, you cannot be a software engineer without an engineering degree." But I was stubborn. I wanted to be a web application developer. One day, a friend called me, told Accenture is hiring for technical support. But on the same day, I had an interview scheduled at a startup company, Corporate Technologies, for the job which I truly wanted. So I decided to attend both. At Corporate Technologies, they told, "Thank you, we will get back to you." At Accenture, I was rejected, and my friend was selected. I was broken, but I still kept trying. My brother pushed me to keep trying. One day, I attended Infosys walk-in drive and finally got the job, but not the job which I wanted. It was in finance department. I was sent to Infosys Mysore campus for training. Everyone around me were excited and I was miserable because I did not get the job which I wanted. On my second day of training, I got a call. "Hi Muzammil, this is Nikhil calling from Corporate Technologies. Congratulations, you have cleared first round of interview. Can you come down for second?" I told him everything honestly. "Hi Nikhil, I have joined Infosys, but if you promise me the job, I will quit Infosys right now and come to you." "Sorry, Muzammil, it does not work that way. You have to go through one more round of interview, but I can arrange it on call." I took the interview, and this time I failed Later, when I got an email, when I saw the words, "We are pleased to hire you for the position of web application developer," my heart stopped. Couldn't believe it was real. After months of rejection, after hearing countless no's, I finally got my yes. I ran to Infosys HR and needed. I walked out of the campus. I looked up at the sky, took a deep breath, and told, "I did it." Same day, I returned to Bangalore to start the career I had fought for so hard. Since then, I never regret the decision and I love what I do now. Throughout my journey, I realized one thing: mentors show us the right path, but they cannot walk it through. My brother made me see what I couldn't believe in, and he pushed me to take action. Dear Toastmasters, listen to your mentors in your life, but don't just stop there. Take charge, trust yourself, and push forward, because success is not about just knowing the path, it's about having the courage to walk through it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mohammad Muzammil. It was having all the elements that Toastmaster TTM Sunil spoke about. So kudos to you and wishing you the best for your evaluations. We are talking about the Feb month as a theme, and how can we not talk about crushes and Valentine's Day, right? I'm not sure what memories you have of your first crush. Mine is funny, so let's keep the funnier part for the second part of. First, let's listen to what you have to share. Any funny crushes story anybody would like to share without disclosing the identity? I'll start with mine because we are running out of time. And this is in 8th standard. And maybe a few months ago, my friend had told me the difference between a crush and a friend. And the simplest definition was, a crush is someone who is you like more than a friend. So that was the definition. And I had identified one person in my class whom I like more than a friend, and because he used to sing well. So I was like, okay, this is my crush. And I am kind of thinking that how I will tell him, because just like name, right? We do not know what it is and so on and so forth. He approaches me and he is like, would you tie Rakhi? So since we do not have, I do not know how to say no, I said yes to him. So that is my shortest and funny story of the first crush. And please guys, it's very important to learn how to say no, okay? So maybe we will look or hear your stories in the second part of the session after the table topics, but I'm happy that you had some smile and laugh listening to my sad story. So let's see who is our table topic master of the day. He has joined Oracle in the year 2023, same year as mine, but 2 months senior to me that way. He's here to work. He's here to work on effective communication and get rid of his stage fear. He loves dogs more than anything, and also he has a cat at home. He is a coffee addict and can't function without it. He loves trying different delicacies everywhere. Please put your hands together and welcome Toastmaster Sayaka.
Thank you, Toastmaster Devi. I think we are a little short on time, but we can have a good session today. I think I'll begin with the online folks today. Who is volunteering today? Anyone? Who would like to take a chance? You can do offline? Okay. Who is coming? I'll give simple topics.
Yeah, after last week's, I think Sushil left.
You scared him off?
I scared him off.
What is the theme of the topic?
February. Oh, okay.
A little about February and in general.
In general, I will go. If you ask for love life, I have to speak the truth, right?
Not necessary.
But you can't make up things, right?
You can dramatize it.
So let's begin with a very simple one. Since it's February. If you were born on February 29th, how would you celebrate your birthday? Not years. Yeah.
1/4 each year.
Okay, so February 29th, how many of you are born on February 29th? Nobody, right? Actually, I have never met anybody who is born on February 29th. So I think that is a very bad date or good date. What do you think that date is?
Good day.
Good day.
Yeah, it's a good day because you will celebrate your birthday after 4 years. It's like Kumbh Mela, right? So currently Kumbh Mela is going on. So, people are saying that it has come after 144 years, not only 4 years. So people are saying that whoever is existing today, they won't exist to next Kumbh Mela. I mean, this type of Kumbh Mela.
Yeah.
Since it has come after 144 years. So looks like I am not trying to, not able to make up correctly what the question he asked. But I would say February 29 is very special because whatever is available in short supply, we think like it's special, right? So, I mean, even in our love life, the person who is not reachable, we want to get them. So, I just remember that poem from Harivansh Rai Bachchan, Madhushala. He says that it's in Hindi, but I will translate also. प्यार नहीं पा जाने में है पाने के अरमानों में पा जाता तब हाय न इतनी प्यारी लगती मधुशाला. So means that whatever we don't get, we are mad about it. So same as in love life or in all aspect of life. But once you get it, you are not, you don't value it that much that you used to do earlier. So yeah, that's all from my side.
Toastmaster, I think that was a lovely answer. I think we also had a comment online that if you're born on February 29th, you're technically not age as fast as you are. Thanks, for that. Who's coming next?
That was an easy one. Anyone?
Yeah. I have easy ones. Why do you think?
Sorry. I want to see the tempo right now. Okay, I don't just want to jump.
So these are easy ones. I want someone online. Someone. Is there Manjuna, Jitendra? Okay, I'll look it offline. You like to come? Oh, perfect. Okay. So, based on personal research, I believe February is the time when most New Year resolutions fall apart. Have you ever successfully kept or met your New Year resolution in the past?
No, I never had New Year resolution. Because
if no, what was the reason? What would
because I don't believe in New Year resolution part actually, first of all, because I'm very confident that I never can succeed that resolution part. If I want to do something, it is not like from this year or from day one we can start. It is not like from particular year actually. So I'm very, and you can say, complex person in this matter actually. So selecting this particular year to do something like a resolution part. If something I want to do, okay, for day one or any day I can choose and do it. Not like that. So it is difficult, or absolutely for me it is not bounded that resolution part will go away in February or something like that part. Yeah, birthday resolution I can say when I will do some birthday for my side. Okay, so today I want to do what I want to do or achieve.
So you have a birthday resolution?
And not that will fall in the next maybe 1 or 2 days actually, but never go more than 2 days actually. I'm not able to continue that spirit more than 2 years, 2 days actually.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think that answers my question, but in a little different way. Who's next? Who's next? See, it's easy.
Okay,
Come on.
let's go.
What domain do you want? Okay. Do you believe in love at first sight? Why or why not?
All right. So begin with, I have not been the guy, who dates and stuff like that. But one fine day, all of my friends, I have a set of gang. So my friends sit me down like, Sushi, listen, this is not gonna go for a long time. What we are gonna do is we'll set you up with a girl, and you're gonna do that. Then after a lot of refusals, what my friends do is they take up my phone. They start installing these dating sites, and then they take the credentials and they log me out. They log in their mobile, and I am still unaware of what things are going on over there. But coming back to the topic, love at first sight, this was just to give a context. But then I believe love at first sight is true because on one fine day, there's this television going on, and I managed to get some 30 minutes when my dad was sleeping. I started watching television, and then I see this game called football. Then I see this player who had the jersey number 10. It was written Messi over there. And till date, I've not loved any human whom I don't know as much as I've loved Lionel Messi. The eloquence that guy has when he has the ball, when he doesn't have the ball, that is something that is just mind-blowing. Today, there are many people who debate if he is the GOAT or not. But believe me, if you have sense of football, you know he is. So that is the love of my life.
That was a lovely answer, and I do agree with him. Messi is the goal. So anyone? Last one. Okay. Okay, we have a last topic for today. Anyone online, offline?
Offline.
You want to go?
Raise them
You wanted to go?
No. Try to take one online, one.
Yeah, online. Katherine would like to take the shot. Or Jitendra?
Yeah, I can go.
Okay, quick one.
Yeah. I had a very basic one. If you had to eat only one type of food for a whole month, what would it be? Yeah, Jitendra, it's for you.
Yeah, okay. So for whole month, again,
Make
honest,
it simple, 28.
yeah, honestly, I haven't understood the context behind this question. Like what would be the inference out of this whole discussion? But yeah, if I were to eat only one fruit for the whole month, it could be banana. The reason is banana is easily available everywhere, and I think most of the people likes it. So like the banana. So and it's healthy, has a lot of calcium and energy into it. So and it will not kind of help you gain extra weight. So I think banana is something which I prefer, but and it comes under budget. I mean nowadays the kind of rate that you hear for most of the fruits and it's skyrocketing and banana is something which you can get any time in the year throughout the year. So that's where banana would be the right choice for me. But yeah, just want to understand from your end, like what is the whole reason behind this question? Maybe I might not have understood that. Yeah, for the larger audience, if you can.
No, there's no specific reason. This is just to see if you can think of something on this spot.
Okay.
This is a lovely
Fair enough.
answer, to be honest. If you think back, monkeys used to eat bananas the whole day, a whole time. That's a very scientific answer as well. So nice one.
Cool. Thanks.
Yeah, minions as well. A month is a small duration. So we have the last one. I think Katherine, you wanted to take it up.
Yeah, sure. I'd like to take.
So yeah, final one. So India has a diverse weather scenario, right? Right now, in every part of the country, winter is in a very different side. So back in your hometown, how is it? Do you like it? Do you not like it? How do you spend your winter?
Winter. Thank you so much for that lovely topic. So the first question when someone asks me back in your hometown, I have an identity crisis because I didn't live in the place where I belong to. So I was technically I'm born in Tamil Nadu, but I was brought up in Maharashtra completely. So that's pretty much almost my native place because I lived almost all my childhood till my 8th grade or something in Maharashtra. So every memory that anyone could ask me of childhood is related to that place. But if you ask me a question like back in your native place, that creates a identity crisis in me. So if I talk about Maharashtra, the place where I lived, I was brought up from, it was a really lovely place. And winters are amazingly cold there. So on the contrary, if you go in the month April, etc., it would be really, really hot. On the other hand, the winters are super cold. And me being a Christian, we have to go on to the church for the night masses during the winters. And that's when I realized, like, especially when you go on, bike rides and you sit in the front being a child, you get to experience all that cold air in front, and that's amazing. That's one great memory of mine over there. So overall, the winters are amazing. I expected some flakes around, but yeah, when I came to Bangalore, it was the first time I saw an hailstorm, and pretty much that's it. Over to you, Table Topic Master.
Thank you for that, Catherine. Thanks a lot. I think we had a very good session, and I will hand it back to Toastmaster. She'll be looking at me. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster. Topics Master of the Day. I feel like it's like running really fast, and each session and the knowledge session and Muzammil's speech and the table topics were so interesting. But time is a constraint, and we have to finish on time, and that's why Toastmaster Shaya Akash, I was looking at you because we want to finish it, and let's see if it goes correctly. So moving on, let's move to the evaluations now. We will begin with the evaluation of the prepared speech. Over to you, Toastmaster Katherine, for the evaluation of the speech of Mohammad.
Thank you. Have you ever had someone who gave you the right advice and guidance in your life? Yes, we all know that Toastmaster Mohammad Muzammil gave us all a wonderful advice, as well as some people would have went back into reminiscence of how they were before. I really loved how you started your speech by asking this very question, which was amazing. We all could connect. And especially people who are from college, we could really, really connect to you. And people working in corporate, this is an amazing space because you could relate to them at some point of their life. I really like 3 things in your speech. First thing is the structure. You started with introducing your brother and also ended up with closing up with your brother, how motivational he was. And secondly, the BPO role that you did. And then your motivation towards being a software engineer. And then the story of the entire referral, the referral saga. And then you went on to the interview at the Accenture, and then how your brother again pushed you. Then you went into the Infosys, but you landed in a wrong job, which is the finance. And then how you got your entire approval of like the mail which came that they're pleased to hire you as a web developer. I really liked how you kept the entire speech as a really good secret, because we all were curious to know what happened next in your entire life. That was amazing, and I really, really appreciate you on the structure and the way you presented the content of your speech. Second thing which was super good was your body language and your vocal variety. Amazingly, when you were like security, when the person called, that was amazing. And then when you were entering and talking to her, you were like, sorry, I don't have a referral. The way you expressed it, the way you expressed the sorrow, the excitement, everything was on point and amazing. It was not more, not less. It was on point, which is a mark of a great speaker, and which is something which I really liked in your speech. And third of all is the analogies. Like when you were telling a splash of water, when your brother first time gave you a wake-up call, right? The splash of water, that phrase was amazingly used. So your overall content delivery as well as structure and the way you wrote up your speech was amazing. There were some things which we could improve on, right? So first thing is, when you began your speech, you asked the question, right? Have you ever had someone giving you the right advice? So we were all ready to either raise our hands or give our inputs. And at that point, you were like, it was my brother, and you started your speech. So that was a really great point where you could have connected with your audience. So that point was missed, that you kind of worked on. Second thing is, this project is also about how Toastmasters envisions mentoring. So a little bit sprinkle about Toastmasters, how it envisions mentoring would have been amazing. And third thing is, when you were talking about the entire referral scene, it was more of sentences. Rather, you could have added some conjunctions in between in order to join them together, okay? Overall, it was an amazing speech. I loved your structure, the voice modulation, the body language, the way you utilized analogies in your entire speech, just working on the speech project guidelines, as well as the way of interacting with the audience would make it better. Over to the general evaluator. All right, over to the Toastmaster of the day. My bad.
And we really appreciate you for coming forward for evaluation of the speech. In the last session also, we were trying to bring a variety and have speakers and evaluators from different clubs so that we get to learn from your knowledge. And now we will move on to the next important part, the overall quality of the meeting. So for that, I will now invite Toastmaster Abhimsha.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. So, my first request to all our members, please fill out the intro sheet. It's really a trouble to get all the intros. Okay, moving on. So we'll start with the tag team's report. First, I would like to invite timer, Toastmaster Shelly, to give her report. Everybody is in the time. Prepared speech, it's a 6 minutes 50 seconds for your report. That's all. Thank you. Very interesting. So, next will be a raw counter report by Toastmaster Lakshaya. Thank you, General Evaluator. So today I've noticed that a lot of us have not used a lot of and things like that. The one thing I did notice, however, was there were a lot of word repetitions. I think we all have a favorite word that we keep repeating multiple times. So maybe we can keep a note of that. Thank you. Next up is Grammarian Toastmaster Bengaluru.
Thank you, General Evaluator. So today, after listening to the speeches, I could not find any bad usage of English, like not good usage of English. So only one thing I could find from the speech is success is not
but I really don't have the time. I mean, he eloquently delivered all the ideas in a very lucid manner, and he had an extremely comfortable body language. And I'm sure everyone had some key takeaways. I could see everyone typing on their laptops, or the people who have sharp memories, they downloaded everything in their mind. So thank you for that. For me, there were some key takeaways, like speaking with conviction is very important, even if it's not your story. Next is get audience's attention at any cost. And choosing feedback wisely. You need not implement every feedback, but choose whichever feels, is going to enhance your speech. So thank you for shedding light on so many informational tips and tricks to improve our speech. I'm sure it will be helpful for the upcoming ISC, and thank you for the XCOM members to organize this session. Moving on to the speaker, I think Katherine has already addressed everything. What an entertaining and refreshing speech, I would say. Everyone laughed so many times during the speech, and the voice modulation was on point, absolutely. A great delivery, Muzammil. Thank you so much. And Katherine, we all knew she would be eloquent with her evaluations, but I absolutely loved the constant smile she had throughout while delivering. So it didn't feel like an evaluation. It was like a friendly, advice and appreciations. Now, Toastmaster Sayakash, I thought the theme would be around love because it's February, but it was very diverse, I must say. So great work in the selection of topics. And some special mentions, I would say Anek's presence of mind to use a Madhushala's poem was great. And also to him that he used the love at first sight, citing Messi. It was not a generic answer, so great twist. Timer, she was brief, of course, and to the point. But I would also like to request to show the timing cards, like color cards that we have. We should get it, and yeah. That's it. And grammarian, he started with a great line. Grammar is like personal hygiene, and that was great. And both the word of the day and phrase of the day were very pertinent to the agenda. I would just like to say that share the meaning and usage everywhere before a day maybe, so that maybe more people can use it. That is it. I can really appreciate all the efforts of all the role takers, without whom the meeting won't be possible. Thank you so much. And I would request all the new members also to take up roles enthusiastically. Because, even if you come and speak your 5 lines, it will open you up and make you more comfortable in attending speeches or further things. So, that's about my feedback. Lastly, no matter what last minute changes happen, this session always ends up to be super fun. And that's why I think week by week we look forward to attending this meeting. So thank you so much.
We'll move to the evaluations now, and there is a QR code which is there for the voting. I request you to vote for the best role takers as well as the best speaker and table topic speakers. While we do that, we have Sunil, Katherine, and Mohammad Muzammil who have joined us from the different clubs. We would love to listen for few feedbacks from your side. I'm sorry I have to say this, but it has to be very crisp. So, would you like to share some of your thoughts, any suggestions or feedback for us which we can implement? And whoever is voting, vote fast. Katherine, would you like to go first?
Yeah, sure. I was waiting for DTM Sunil to go first. Okay, it was an amazing meeting. This is my first time into Oracle's Toastmasters Club, and I really liked how the entire meeting was. And pretty much that's it. Like, I loved the entire meeting, and I would love to join again. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Muhammad here. It was really an amazing meeting for me, and joining Oracle Toastmasters Club for the first time. I did not expect so many people in the room. When I saw, I got little nervous. I was expecting people to be less or to be online, but I got a little nervous when I saw. But yeah, it was a good experience, and would like to join you again. Thank you very much.
DTM Sunil, if you're still there with us.
Yeah, still alive. No feedback from my end. It was good. It was nice. I mean, I loved it. Meeting started on time, almost, and we're ending on time. No
Yeah.
feedback as such. I mean, it's a continuously improving process, right? I mean, you cannot say there's a perfect meeting or a imperfect meeting. So, yes.
Yeah, we have
Lovely.
identified a few areas, and I think it will improve with practice eventually, as you said.
Yes.
So let's hear from a few of our guests who have joined us. I would request you to come forward and share your feedback and a little bit about yourself. Have you voted?
It was my first meeting, and especially I mentioned that to Nitin that I came to Bangalore just to just to interact with people, learn more. I was feeling like staying at hometown, not growing personally. Rest of the fun was there, definitely. The comfort was there. So Toastmasters was my first Friday, and I started the journey. So looking forward to grow with you all. Thank you.
Would you like to share a few of your thoughts?
I'm Dev, everyone. Today was my first Toastmasters meeting. I've heard of the organization when I was in college, and I was always curious as to how these things proceed. Like, I wanted to just check out, and I think someone just ushered me in when I was looking through the window. I pretty much had no choice. It was a fun experience. Found great people here. I hope I can come again.
Thank you. Do you have anyone online? Okay, great. So let's move to the results.
Yeah.
Everybody voted?
Yes, I
Would you like
see
to-
16 responses.
Okay.
So the best speaker is Mohammad. And the best evaluator
Any
is
guesses?
only one and only Katherine. And best table topic speaker goes to Toastmaster Sushil. And best role taker goes to Table Topics Master Sayakash. And best auxiliary role taker goes to General Evaluators Toastmaster Aditya. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Ravindra. With that, we come to an end of the session. Thank you so much for joining us. We will do more of these sessions and we look forward to your participation, as well as you should take roles as well, members. So I request the offline members as well as guests to come forward for a quick picture.